can start. Slideshow.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. We are starting with the 5th webinar of our series, yes, on the occasion of Hanuman Week. Our esteemed speaker for today is Dr. Rekha Srinivasan. She is also the Vice President of Tamil Nadu, and she is going to speak on the utility of lesser known nosodes and COVID nosodes. Okay, to tell you a bit about her, she is the former Indian Homeopathic Research Center Director, IHRC affiliate of Indian Homeopathic Medical Association, an Indian body of qualified homeopaths. She has done her BHMS from Bangalore University in 1999, her PG fellowship in homeopathic psychiatry from Pioneer University, UK, completed in 2010. She has completed her diploma in mental health and counseling from NIMHANS accredited SCARF Institute of Chennai 2019. She got trained in advanced classical homeopathy under the tutelage of legendary Professor George Whittlesey at Greece in September 2019. She also has a fellowship in palliative care in 2022. She has her independent practice at Chennai, Mylapore, Chennai, since 1999. And her list of achievements is just too huge. It is too huge for me to read the entire thing. So I will just be mentioning few of the points. She has been faculty of homeopathic palliative care, NAPCAM National Workshop at Kulasekaram, 7th Jan 2024. She has been faculty and she has done a paper presentation at NAPCAM ICON's second International Integrative Conference at Kochi 2020 October, and faculty of homeopathic palliative care curriculum of courses conducted by NAPCAM, that is the National Association of Palliative Care for Ayush and Integrative Medicine. She has been part of conducting and coordinating national webinar series of IHMA Illuminare 2020 from renowned international speakers. She is also in the editorial board of Homeopathic Medical Panorama and has compiled a medical book on treatment of autism by homeopathy for training homeopaths in the treatment of ASD. She has played a key role in developing essential questionnaires for homeopathic physicians who are treating COVID-19 disease for bedside as well as telemedicine usage. The case recording format for COVID-19 disease, which has been very well received by the fraternity. She has made several paper presentations as well as she has written articles in many famous homeopathic journals. Now the list is too huge for me to mention out here. I'm going to put it in the group so that all of you all can go through it. So welcome Dr. Rekha, over to you. We are really eager to learn from such a fantastic personality and lucky to have you in the group. Yes, let's start.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies. My iconic women. I'm very proud of to be a part of iconic women group. Hope my PPT is visible. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So now shall I start with my presentation? And hi, Dr. Vaishali. Very nice to see you. Yeah. So I will be starting my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Rekha. Same here. We are all eager to learn from you.
Yes. I will share my experiences alone, and it is nothing like hard and fast thing. As a homeopathy, it is individualistic. Yeah. And now, let me introduce. I will give introduction. What will be the agenda of this meeting? I will give brief introduction about nosodes. I will give list of nosodes with their keynotes. Only my experience with brief case examples. because I'm telling this because there are so many no sources. It's a huge collection now for homeopaths, and and as you know, only homeopathic experiments will be based on the cases we are getting and not otherwise. So I am sharing only my experience. And COVID nosod is especially important nowadays because post COVID things have scenarios has totally changed, and we will talk about that. And now, finally, we'll have some tips and takeaways, and that will be sharing our thoughts and ideas. First, I want to pay tribute to one of the legendary, most iconic, and very, very fascinating Dr. Lakdesh Shipar, who passed away recently. He was a great teacher, and he revived, reinstilled our beliefs in Hahnemann and homeopathy, how to practice it practically, and I am very indebted for whatever knowledge I have. There are so many legends I have learned from, and he's one of very very important legend. So sad we lost him so early. Please do read his books. It's really monumental. Um, it's a tribute to him. Now I will move to the definition. As you all know, I don't have to explain this much. Noso means naksha, that is damage. So nosors are obtained from microbe cultures, from viruses, fungi, pathological secretions, and excretions. So they advance the are advanced homeopathic dilutions. So this is the no source for us. We know everything. And that beginning was uh, the first generation homeopaths, Hahnemann, Herring, Laxon, Gross, and stuff. And Herring was the one who pioneered the efforts. And he very clearly pointed out that it is not isopathy, and homeopathy, it should be applied just like any other homeopathic medicine. So that we always have to keep in our minds. And what is a classification of nosers? Maybe I'm very fast. I'll little slow down. What is a classification of noser? This also everyone will be knowing, and especially youngsters. They'll be just out of college. This is a brush up for us oldies. And preparations in COVID noser. This is the preparation made from microorganism survives from human convergence and disease subjects. That is N4. That is so we have to take note of that. And what are the classification of nosors? This is basic nosors. These are all usually used as constitutional remedies, right? Sorainum, basilinum, syphilinum, medorinum, carcinosinum. Uh, there are some exanthem nosors which are specifically for that specific disease, and isopathic nosors. They are also for specific not well since type of nosors, and autogenous nosors. This I have tried with atopathy. I forgot the name of the author, and I can't say it works wonders, but it can be employed in certain cases where nothing helping them. So you can study more about that autopathy. And then intestinal nosors. They are back phlegm, back sorry, bowel nosors especially. It's a very huge topic, and we may have to have one whole thing about that. But I don't have much uh, experience in that. I have used a few of them like Proteus and Mutabilis, and very limited knowledge about that. If someone can take up that, it will be great. And the plant nosors, as you all know, we have very well used Sikel Core and Ustilago. Ustilago will be very much aware. It's a nowadays it's a common remedy, I guess, especially for women who have heavy menstrual bleeding with bearing down pains. Just few moving brings about a gush of menstrual gush of menses, and blood will be dark and black, and with lots of clots. So this is a keynote of Ustirago. Mm. and that is one of the key features of all no source as well. But I think you would have utilized Uchilego in your clinics very well. So now moving on to how I got interested in no source, especially other than regular ones like Soranum, Medorinum. How I got interested. This is in 2007, I think. I read Shankaran's Mayasm's flowchart. It was very quite interesting because he says each stepwise persons will develop next level miasm if it is suppressed naturally or by medicines. So he says like acute miasm, if it is suppressed or on its own, it will get into typhoid type miasm, then sora, then ringworm, then psychosis, then cancer, then tubercular or leprosy, and then uh, a syphilitic miasm. It makes sense because if you see the levels of health in the persons who are suffering from all these things, those in the later stages, like in syphilitic and leprosy type of people, it's almost very difficult to treat them, and cure is really very difficult. Very rarely we can cure them. And in typhoid thing, especially if you treat a person with typhoid enema or otherwise, you can achieve so many wonderful cures, isn't it? If it is yes, please type in the chat box yes. So typhoid is relatively easier to treat than leprosy, isn't it? So it made sense for me, and then I started employing those uh, remedies which are done with the microorganisms themselves. So this is the starting point of my interest in miasms. And now we have usually whatever no source I have come across, I'm talking about them. And in this, sorry, Anthracinum, as you all know, it is a burning pains. It can be useful even in cancer, but I have very limited experience with it. Once I took for experimenting, and it was a hell. Uh, and it is true that it is burning coals like pains. So I have a very limited experience. Polylithium is a very constant remedy for especially gallbladder stones and patients with liver cirrhosis and other things. It is very helpful. I think most of you will be knowing that. Hydrophobinum, I had one case of paranoid schizophrenia where that it was a typical case of hydrophobinum, lysinum, and she improved very well with lysinum. 30 I gave. It was in my, that is in 99 actually, during my uh, internship. But since schizophrenia is not a one thing cure it all type disorder, so I couldn't help her much. It was a very brief improvement. You can understand how much paranoid she was. She was seeing on her everything on a reference in the TV and all those things, but very little help with lysinum. And in you have to read it in Materia Medica to know more about lysinum. What is type of personality they are. Um, and then influenzinum, yes, it is a very go for the remedy type, especially after swine flu. Uh, I have seen so many SARS, MERS, and so many things came up uh, during just before COVID, right? Just before COVID, that is almost 10 years, for 10 years. And most of them are flu types. And people were very scared. And they needed some medicines. Asalb is fabulous. Yeah, I know. But influenzinum 200 helped prevent flu type occurrences, and it is very like it is not influencing the overall personality. Like it is only you give insulinum and he is cured. That's it. They have a very severe type of flu. They can't live with it. It's very very severe. And influenzinum 200 has been always helpful. Always helpful. So you, if a patient comes and says, I need some preventive for flu or SARS or swine flu, you can definitely go for influenza. And then about morbillinum, post vaccination, especially in kids, they got chicken pox. So many cases, especially in older girls like 17, 18 and all. Because 10th standard only they made mandatory, right? So morbillinum 1M I have given for many girls for post vaccination troubles, and it has subsided that skin eruptions and that redness and fever as well. And because that age is not proper to get chicken pox, right? And pyrogenum, you all will be very well versed with pyrogenum. uh, it is a very important remedy, and especially for high fevers. 103, 104 fever is there, and yeah, I will tell about it. Pyrogenum will be like 200 or 1 m single dose will be enough, especially for high fevers, 102 or 103 and above. So, especially that keynote symptom of very offensive discharges, that should be there. Now, I retreated one patient who is 97, who was 97-year-old, and she has very high fever. With it was stinking so much, nobody could enter that room. So, pyrogenum, I gave 30 because it's the end of life. So she got well with that. Fever reduced. She was there for 15 more days. She met all her relatives and she's gone. So pyrogenum is a very interesting remedy. Everyone has to keep in their kitty. Calcarea renalis I have utilized, but I didn't find it that helpful. Maybe my application was wrong. So uh, it is better to use a calcarea group of remedies, but calcarea renalis specifically, I didn't find it much helpful. So if you are doing for experiment sake, it is going to be doomed. That is for sure, because rare remedies are rarely helpful. That is a dictum, and that is true always. We can't force nature to uh, cure just because we are willing to try a new remedy, isn't it? Diphtherium, no, I haven't used much. Malandrinum, I have used in a case of psoriasis. She had eruptions on both her legs, and it was a very serious discharge, was very heavy, but that is also very limited. This thing, melandrinum alone can't cure. It can be one part of the process, but they use for preventing measles and all. No, I haven't used in that way. Malaria officinalis, yes. In few cases where endemic malaria, patients were from endemic area of malaria, and even filaria. So they had chills. That is a important keynote. Chills and malaria-like fevers and intermittent fevers, afternoon rise of temperature. Malaria officinalis was very helpful. It can be used in 200 or 1 m. I used malaria officinalis in 200. And Monelia albicans, that is Candida albicans, no, it is not helpful. Exactly like what I told. Just because it is a Candida infection, we can't cure it with Candida albicans. And pertussinum, they say pertussinum is very helpful when the cough is not going away, like especially for whooping cough, whooping type cough. See, it is like we are not going to Pertusinum immediately. A patient comes, he has a dry chronic cough, very that sound is there, and you take the case, whole case, you go for that phase remedy, whichever is suitable. Maybe bryonia we can say, or spongia. It is not relieving. It relieved but didn't cure. You go to Drosera as well. It relieved but didn't cure. So then you can think of Pertussin. So it should be, that is the way I use all rare remedies. I don't go for them under first hand unless otherwise it is so typical, like in COVID. No, sir. I will tell about that. So whenever there is some case, we have to exhaust real simile. If nothing is completely curing the patient, then we have to go for the rare remedies. Uh, I I suppose that is the best way to do that. So, but I have found it helpful only in that way. And then AIDS, hepatitis B, I haven't not used. Serenum is very important remedy, just like Calcarea floor and conium. It's a very hard cancerous growth, and it's very slow growing cancers. So it has a very potential, but I haven't got such cases yet. Yeah, not much. Carcinosinum syrinum mame also not much uh, helpful. I used in a case of mammary cancer, but after that she slided fastly and she died within 2 3 months. I think I'm little scared about that. I don't know. We can use it that way. Osteoarthritis also not much helpful. And Staphylococcus and Streptococcinum, I want to talk about them because they have been emerging as very important remedies nowadays post COVID. And vaccinum also not much helpful clinically. I haven't seen much. Variolinum I have utilized especially for post chickenpox or smallpox. Smallpox is very rare. The the scar does not go away, and that never well since that syndrome. And Pseudomonas, it's a interesting thing. I came to know from one Dr. Meera. She is in the group actually. She was telling that Pseudomonas is the major infection in, especially in hospitalized patients, and it can have some effect. I have to yet to try that. I helped one girl who was repeatedly hospitalized in her young days, when she was in 10, 12 years, repeatedly hospitalized. Now she is in 20s. So actually, each time I gave one dose of Pseudomonas, she got fever. And that's a very good sign according to vital cause levels of health. So I think it helped her. Um, yet to experiment more about Pseudomonas. And typhoid enum, yes, it has been very helpful when Baptisia or Pyrogen, whatever remedies we usually employ, they are not helping, never well since that syndrome. And typhoid enum 1M usually clears the path and the patient will be cured. I have utilized it many times. Penicillinum is used especially for summer boils, especially in Chennai and hot regions. They will have boils. They will have mm, very painful boils during summers. So that is helped with the Penicillinum 3x. I have utilized that and it helps. They may need even belladonna if they have fever. This prescription I came to know through Dr. Kopika's book, and I think and I think it is helpful. Hippozynium, no, I have no idea. So how usually we administer node source? Uh, there is the 9 ways. We already talked about constitutional remedy. That is the best thing. Well chosen remedies do not act, hold, just change the symptoms. Lack of symptoms. Never well since syndrome. This is a most important one, because that is the way it clears the path, especially no source. It's wonderful. Even partial pictures of constitutional remedies, yet no one remedy completely fits the case. When a miasmic layer obstructs the progress of a constitutional remedy related to the disease genus, yeah, this is important, related to a disease genus, and we can think of COVID nosode also in this way, because still COVID exists. And homeopathic prophylaxis, yeah, this I want to talk about. Autonosode, I already told about that, autopathy. And constitutional remedy, we all know, Dr. Vaishali has spoken about that very well, especially about tuberculinum, right? It was a wonderful session. So that is the way it is helped, used. Sorry. Now, I want to talk about homeopathic prophylaxis. My daughter did a nosode experiment with tobacco mosaic virus infected Solanum nigroper, that is tomato plant. Tobacco mosaic virus extracted from the tomato plant and applied to the plant itself in a proper conditions, and that nosode provided so much of protection for the plants prophylactic rather than curatively. Prophylactically, it was so nice that the plants sustained 3 weeks, 3 weeks without water. So they survived in the most hostile conditions for 3 weeks, and they had all other parameters were better than curative, therapeutic batch of plants. So it's a wonderful thing that no source can be prophylactic. So I want to press the importance of prophylaxis. And this is streptococcinum and staphylococcinum. These are the symptoms. You can go and check online. I will only say which is the keynote I usually go for streptococcinum. Usually sore throat pain. Even without sore throat, they will have strep recurrent strep infections. So there we can rely on the lab reports, isn't it? And we have seen that streptococcus infection leads to even heart conditions, rheumatic heart disease also. I have seen one such case. That girl of 16 had rheumatic heart disease, and then I didn't knew streptococcinum can be helpful. And we can give streptococcinum when there is strep conditions, and usually Rustox will be very helpful in such conditions. Rustox will be after streptococcinum or before. It uh, acts like it helps in the completion of the cure. I have seen that many times. Rustox 200 usually, streptococcinum also 200, and staphylococcinum, we have seen lots of cases of staphylococcus infection in recent times. It is like post-COVID, we have seen a rise of infections, especially staphylococcus, and they have very painful conditions. This type of boil, that is very painful, uh, and that redness, and it is so, and it is itching also, so severe. Whole night they have to scratch it, and this is a real case. This is from the internet. This is real case. Actually, I couldn't share other pics of that lady. Mm, this is coming back of that, slightly coming back. Here I used she I treated her from 2024 June maybe, and for 2 months she was very well with Rustox, and then Rustox didn't help. I switched to other remedies. Kalimur was helping her, and then I gave Apis mellifica, didn't help. I tried so many other remedies. Relatively, she is very healthy. And then finally, I thought, okay, this is not helping. Then I thought of COVID nosol. COVID nosol, one dose, it brought on severe cold, severe cold. So after that, still she had these eruptions and itching. It was little milder than before. Then I gave her staphylococcus 1 one dose, OD for 1 day. And it is almost like before and after that. So she was so well, so well. She forgot scratching whole night. She's so comfortable. Now I gave some. She is using little more extra dosage. Then she got this back little bit, very mild. Now also she will have little allergies and all, but it's so mild that she don't have any problems. That was before like this, so it was so severe. So this is one way of usage of staphylococcus. So you can use it with COVID also. Before, if it is post COVID, you can give COVID nosol. You wait. If it is not completely cured, those boils are still there, then you can go for staphylococcus. Or you can give staphylococcus. It is helping them. Then, if needed, you can go for a COVID nosol. But I have seen these two are helping relieve so many cases uh, in tandem, like one after the other. Another one case I will share. A person of 53 years, he had repeated infectious diseases. Like he had since childhood. He had all typhoid, malaria, and he had dengue 3 or 4 times. Each time it was very high fever and that. And post COVID only I have started treating him, and I was uh, every time I gave him Rustox or Eupatorium perf for his high fever. It will be around 101, 102. Every week almost he used to get fevers. That is uh, 6 months back. Okay, every time he used to get fevers. He was confirmed dengue, uh, and he was treated in the hospital because it was 103 fever, 103 beyond for two full days, and it was very worrisome for me. And then his hemoglobin was always 9. It will come down to even 6, 7. So he was twice he was given. His blood transfusion was done for him in the hospital. So this is also worrisome. Yeah. And then I started him with chininum sulf because he had the chill feeling and high fever. So he improved very well with that. He had very less fevers comparatively. But that hemoglobin is still 9, or even it goes down. So nothing is, it is not in the proper way. Okay, and then all other remedies I had exhausted. Then I thought of COVID nosol, one single dose. And then now he has uh, his hemoglobin is now 11 and stable for 4 months now, 3 4 months now, and he is not getting fevers. His energy is back. He was very very tired all the time. Even with chininum himself, everything improved, but his hemoglobin was less. He was very always tired. Now his energy is back. He's a very hard working type of person. Very challenging job. So physically, and he's coping well. So this is the power of COVID now, sir. And his wife has staphylococcal infection. What I showed previous this thing, chronic staphylococcal infection, and it is you can understand how bad it could be, she'll be uh, uh, it could be so severe, like whole night she has to scratch, it will bleed, and she will have fevers. So it's a very severe condition for her. And after COVID nosode, she improved very well. Her medicine was aloes, very surprising, because she had anal itching. So that is the key symptom I prescribed on the aloes sarcoidosis, and she improved very well after aloes and after that COVID nosode. She improved very well, very very well actually. Uh, Actually, skin conditions, especially uh, herpes, these psoriasis, these conditions are very troublesome for both the patient and the doctors, because they need immediate relief. They will do whatever they can in their capacity to get relief from that very devastating symptoms. And we can't control them, saying you can't put external things and all. So I will allow them to some extent. If I am not allowing, they will not be stopping anyway. They will be doing whatever they want because it's very troublesome. Yeah. Slowly I will wean them off their external applications. When they are comfortable, definitely they will oblige, right? So, see, this is the way I have seen before COVID and COVID notion and after COVID notion. It has been very very helpful in improving the cases which are stuck, and after that they are not even needing their constitutional remedies that often. And my own case, I had allergy and even anaphylaxis reaction post COVID, and I used COVID nosode. That was very recent only, because I came to know about COVID nosode recently. In the sense, I was thinking, अरे यार और एक आ गया मार्केट में नया वाला nosode. I'm wary of trying new things. Why unnecessarily we have to go for fancy things when we have so many remedies in our materia medica, isn't it? We have to go for older things only. I was thinking that. So, but then my cases pressurized me. I have to try something so that their cases are improving and sustaining their improvement. So I have to study COVID also. I read some article on Facebook, and it intrigued me, and I got COVID nosode from one pharmacy from Pune. Uh, Someone shared on the group, and I think that is Sakshi Homeo Pharmacy. From there only I got COVID nosode, and it is working. One name I am using more. 200. It is not very. It is little confusing. I am using COVID nosode one, and it has been helping. I usually give single dose, and if it is needed, I will repeat again. Maybe after 3 days, 5 days, 1 week. Whenever I feel there is a block in the improvement, then only I will repeat it. Or I will say for long distance patients, I may say you take weekly once, but each time before taking the next dose, you have to tell me. So that is like tomorrow is your dose. You have to call me one day before evening. You have to tell. You have to briefly tell me what is happening. Then only I will tell you have to take the next dose of it. So this is the way I work. And like Vital Gaussian method. Uh, Usually Vital Gauss advocates single remedy at a time. In the sense, he says for the sequential remedies. See, you can't cure all the cases with single remedies. That is, especially in this case. So you have to go for the next remedy based on the symptoms, what they have at that point of time. And For example, what I told about that case about mm, the fever case I told, no, he had high fever with chills. We went for pardon. Yeah, I gave him Epitorium puff, he brought on a little more high fever, and then he was managed allopathically, and then his fever reduced, but nothing improved. So, taking all the symptoms at that point of time, I went for Chininam salt because still he was very chilly, and he has chill fever, feverish feeling, but no fever. So, in that way, so if it is spoiled by allopathic or whatever thing, we can't say no at this point of our prescription, because we have so many other things to take care of. You can't land in lawsuits, right? India still it is not that rampant, but definitely Indian homeopaths are treating even so many from abroad. So we have to be very careful about those things. So you can't be like our previous generation homeopaths. We have so many other things to take care of. We have to work in tandem with allopaths. We have to work in tandem with other Ayush doctors. So we can't deny it. That is practical thing. So the key thing is whatever symptoms that patient has that point of time. That is the only thing we can consider. We don't have to care about whether it is because of allopathic medicine, whether it is lifestyle, whatever. So this helps always. And considering all the other things, like whatever I told, not well since that one, and their past history, family history. That is what Vitalka says, predispositions. It is miasm, family history, past history, history of drugs, and all those things taken wholly. That is predisposition. So this way, it is more practical, isn't it? So always this basic information that will help you in choosing the remedy. And so now I think you can try COVID nosod in this way, based on never well since. And mm, so many cases I have been using it. Those things improved, but not improving beyond. So I will share cases in the group sometimes, and then I think we are running out of time. Is it? Yes. And what COVID nosod thing? It is online only. We can get the material about that. Dr. Rajesh has approved it, and he has given all the related about COVID nosod. You can read it online. And this is my presentation about lesser known nosodes and in focus with COVID nosode. Hope it will be helpful for you in your practice. Uh, can we take up questions, or we'll have to talk about something else? Thank you very much, one and all. Yeah, please.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rekha, for the wonderful presentation. Yes, we can take up questions now. We have quite some time today. We have finished quite early.
Earlier, yeah.
Is there anyone who would like to ask a question? I think Dr. Vaishali has risen her hand. Dr. Vaishali?
Yes. Dr. Rekha, I wanted to know what is the sure shot indication for the COVID nosode, because there are so many symptoms given, but some of the symptoms must have come out in common.
Yes, yes.
Which
No,
are those?
yeah, no. Usually, COVID, post COVID means especially severe type of flu type of symptoms that I have seen. And patients come up with the flu type of symptom after giving COVID nosor also. That's a very important symptom that they are getting better with COVID nosor. Each case, even the family I told, no, they both husband and wife received COVID nosor. They both came up with very severe cold type symptom. sneezing, running nose, and this one. And it
So
could be, yes.
can we say normally what people would do is they would give arsenic. So when arsenic is also not helping
Yeah.
or a selected remedy is not helping, you
Yes.
give a COVID
Correct.
vaccine and
Yes,
then see
yes.
what is remaining to treat. COVID
Yes,
nosode, sorry.
exactly. See, that's what as I told you, um all the remedies we have been giving the perfect remedies. They are helping, but it is not cured. Uh, it is still dragging just like that. So then one dose of COVID nosode will clear the path, and then they will go for their constitutional remedy either, or they will be cured from there onwards. This is the way I have been using it most of the times. And
Okay.
yeah, even in now we have seen second and third COVID surge. There was urinary infection, rise of urinary infection, isn't it? They had very high fevers and burning urination. Even those cases, get better after COVID nosode, and they will stop getting repeated recurrent urinary infections in that way. See, COVID nosode has so many symptoms. Whichever patient has that type of symptom which is not yielding to the regular his constitutional or regular remedies, and he is sick after post COVID, so we can go for post COVID nosode. This is the
Normally
way.
normally what we would do is this is the constitutional and there are some other set of symptoms.
Yes,
I would
yes.
open the Kent's repertory or
Yeah.
the remedy relationship, search the complementary medicine and give that medicine. So instead of the
Yes.
complementary medicine which you would like to give, we would realize that there is a history of COVID and probably that is causing resistance to the case and give the nosode, wait for it to clear and then give the constitutional, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay.
See, I will tell the sequence. Like, in few cases, post vaccination, they had Parkinson's. Okay, so it was very severe. It got severe type of symptoms, and their life was very restricted. And they got usual remedies, but they didn't improve much as expected. They didn't improve. And then this Parkinson's was post vaccination. So I get usually Silesia, Tuja, and those things I have already given, but it is not helping them. Fine. And then I give one dose of COVID nosol, 1 ml. And Parkinson's has reduced so much that they're almost uh, they are at a level of almost near normal. They can function so well. So this is the way. It can't cure actually, but it can be improved so very well beyond expectations. That happened in a case of Parkinson's. Is
So
it 70-year-old man? Yeah.
there are a few patients who have lost sense of smell after COVID permanent.
Yes.
So in their case, if the constitution is showing slow improvement, we can give this
Exactly.
and see. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
each case, if it is a heart condition, if it is a urinary tract infection, if it is loose motions and acute renal failure, that was few months back. That is the expression of COVID few months back. So each case, their regular treatment is helping but not helping beyond. Then you can go for single dose of COVID nosol or as required, and it start improving beyond, and wonderful. That's what my observations. Yeah, I think.
We have a few more questions from Dr.
Yeah.
Mona Parmar.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll start with Dr. Mona Parmar. There are a few more people who also have raised their hands.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Mona.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Dr. Mona Parmar. I'm really happy, and I'm just saying that you have a very honest way of saying that some cases didn't work and some remedies didn't work. That is really, I appreciate that. My question to you is that COVID nosode, as you said, that they have influenza symptoms. So, how
Yes.
will you differentiate between influenza and COVID nosode?
That's what, ma'am. Influenza now it is not. See, after COVID came, everything else vanished. That you all are aware of. And I didn't use influenza after that much. Uh, but this is like That's what it is in the process. Everything already I have exhausted, and then I will going to COVID also because it is post COVID. Influenza is a very short acting remedy, and I have
Okay.
utilized only when there is no indications except a severe flu, no indications at
Okay.
all. They're very
Okay.
superficial. They have just
Oh,
running nose and watering eyes and regular Allium Sipa and whatever we use. No, they are not helping. Then I'll be fed up. No, I'll give one dose of influenza. They get better after that. It's a very
okay.
superficial thing. Yeah.
Okay. One more question is that one of my patient is having rheumatoid arthritis. She was better for quite some time, but since COVID, her all her arthritis symptoms have again resurfaced. So
Mm.
in that case, I'm giving her tuberculinum as a anti-miasmatic. Can I give
Mm.
her COVID nosode?
Yes, ma'am. Very well. You can try COVID nosode, especially one name single dose. I use
Okay.
very like milder dose, but actually COVID nosode has not given any dramatic effects like syphilinum or other nosodes. In my experience, it's a very mild kinder thing. You can try in that case.
Okay.
Interestingly, I had two cases of rheumatoid arthritis post COVID, post COVID injection, vaccination, and both the ladies were in pregnancy, during pregnancy. They were given up hopes actually, but they were cleared with silesia. But I didn't knew COVID nosed then. Maybe it would have
Okay.
been better. I don't know. So
Okay.
it
Okay.
definitely helps me. I can
Okay.
give that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Ma'am, we have Dr. Megha Ajani is also
Yes.
waiting to ask a question. Dr. Megha.
Yes, Dr. Megha.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
First of all, thank you so much for your insightful experience that you've shared today. I just wanted to ask that I have some patients who have decreased tolerance to increase in heart load, like exercising or
Mm.
breathlessness, which is not
Yes.
related to any changes in ECG or something.
Yes.
So, and we see a lot of such cases post COVID. So,
Yes.
can
Yes.
we give a dose of COVID nosode and then
Yes.
continue with the constitutional for better
Uh,
result?
Yes, yes, doctor. I have seen that too. Too many cases, like especially youngsters in 20s. They have lots
Yes.
of issues, palpitations, tachycardia, and it is functional only, not organic. And cardiologists just send them away. Don't worry, or they will put on very heavy drugs. Both is not advisable. I have seen very wonderful improvement after COVID nosode. Uh, I have seen post after vaccination. I saw such cases, and they improved very well with uh, Lyco, Lycopus virginicus. That
Okay.
has helped with so many cases. I will share, if it is okay, I will share one case. He's a 17-year-old boy. He was preparing for MBBS entrance, like that is NEET exams. And he was very scared. Like he was scared that he may get the seat or not. Fine. And that pressure was very much. And he had almost like heart attacks. Like he will fall down with heavy sweating and um, he will have tachycardia. And he went to cardiologist as well. He is my old patient. He saw the cardiologist. He said that there is no problem at all. It is psychogenic. They went to a psychologist as well. That also was clear. There is no psychological effect also. So it is post COVID, and mind it, he is not. He didn't receive a vaccination. He didn't have any COVID also. That is strange, but it is happening. People who are not exposed to COVID virus as such, or not exposed to vaccination, also getting this. So uh, that is happening actually. You have to keep it that in mind. And then I treated him with Aconite. It was wonderful for him. That alone was sufficed. And then now, after 2 years, now he is an engineering student. He didn't go for MBBS. Now again he got the same symptoms. Lycopus virginicus only helped him previously with taconite. Few doses, very few doses. Now again he got the same palpitations and those things after 2 years. I gave him COVID nosol. He is very well since around 6 months now. So this is the way. I think it's clear, right?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, we have Dr. Sneha Barsenia also who wants to ask a question. Dr. Sneha? Dr. Sneha, are you there? Anybody else who would like to ask any questions? Yes, Dr. Vaishali, even she has raised her hand right now. Dr.
Ma'am, I
Vaishali?
was just, yes, thank you. Ma'am, I was just thinking if
Huh.
we could give most patients COVID nosode because we have all suffered.
Yeah, that is a utopian ideology. Even I feel like that.
If we
But
just give them one as an introductory dose and then start our case taking, I think that because this is one disease which engulfed the whole world.
that's a very actually a funny idea. But I feel sometimes I should do that. Okay, so many cases we can relieve because I don't want to give any. Just because I didn't use COVID nosal and they are not getting benefited, it should not happen. But I'm not very sure. It is personal, like doctor to doctor, personal thing. They can decide
Because
on that.
nobody's life has remained the same after COVID.
Exactly. Uh, it's very, very like disturbing thing that even my kith and kin who are not vaccinated or didn't get no sword, who are very well protected, exercising everything, even they had heart issues. It just happens. There is no
Most people got
guarantee.
obesity and they became pre-diabetic. The younger
Yes,
population,
yes.
probably sitting
Yeah,
at
yeah.
home and eating, I don't know. But there was some change for sure. When they
Correct, correct.
went back to their normal life, they could not lose weight.
Yes. Yeah, that is one important thing. I forgot to mention about that. Uh, Post COVID is like those people who had 20 years back one symptom, like shoulder pain or something like that. It depends on their levels of health. Okay, they are very healthy. They will get back their old, very old symptoms, but it is not curative. Okay, it will be very, very severe form, or they will start with new diseases like diabetes, disorders like diabetes, hypertension, or Parkinson's. Even they have stroke, heart problems, urinary tract infection, kidney problems, everything. You ask for it. This is post-COVID scenario. And when we start give treatment for COVID, okay, post-COVID syndrome, and if we can even include a COVID nosode, they'll be relieved of their symptoms. Especially diabetics can be without medicines. In that way, we can help. And that person I was mentioning, he had hypertension, starting stages. After that, his
Okay.
BP is normalized. So we can prevent early getting into medication. That is possibility.
Thank you, Dr. Rekha.
Yes.
Yes, we have Dr. Sneha Barsenia now with us. Dr. Sneha, would you like to ask a question?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Doctor, actually, recent 8-9 months back, there was a widespread of chikungunya.
Yes.
And post that, people were not able to walk, especially the elderly, and they had their own side effects. I had seen patients like lying on the floor, not able to get up,
Mm.
required ICU admission. So, any experience of that you had got, like which nosode can help during that time?
Yes. It is Calimore 1M. I just randomly read about it from some homeopath, actually somewhere. Okay, so desperately in need of helping my patients, I tried it. Calimur 1M, specifically 1M, and
Kali
then
one.
Calimur 1M.
Okay.
And I have lost count of chikungunya patients, never well since chikungunya, this thing, especially joint pains. It is so devastating. We can't imagine. We homeopaths are unable to imagine the plight of our patients because they go through so much of trouble, and orthopedic surgeons are at loss. They can't help them. Whatever painkillers, totally waste, and they literally their lives are crippled after chikungunya. And Calimur, after Calimur, no, they forget that they had some problem. They forget you also. Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely they will forget you because they
Ma'am,
don't remember how scary it was. Yeah.
just one more question. Like we are speaking so much on COVID vaccination. So
Yes.
just to go behind the history, the case taking part of it.
Mm.
So some patients they can directly pinpoint ki I had after vaccination, these
Mm.
were the set of symptoms that had started.
Yes.
But in some patients cannot elicit that. So
Yes. Yes.
is there any time lag which you consider like when symptoms started and the COVID vaccination he had taken? Any
No, no.
ailment from
Like after 2020 itself, everything you can consider post COVID. 2020 March afterwards, everything. And after vaccination, within 1 month, they will develop very serious conditions.
yeah.
And the pity is still allopaths are allowing for the next dose of. I say about one case. She was a psychiatric. She had some depression and she was under treatment with me. Okay, she had repeated loose motions. I was suspecting some colon cancer or something like that. They didn't go for any this thing. They didn't go for MRI scans and all. So repeatedly I asked them, they didn't do that. That was before COVID. Okay, and then she's around 70 then, 68, 69. And then after COVID, uh, her husband wanted her to get vaccinated. I told no, and he stopped medication and he vaccinated her. She developed cancer within 1 month. Mind it, within 1 month. Okay, left breast cancer, and that was removed, and all treatment was done. She got second dose. My God, can you believe this? Second dose, she got the cancer back within 1 month, and that this time it is inoperable. Nothing can be done about that. I treated her for 8 months, but no, she didn't survive. To understand, so that is the plight actually. Post COVID itself is such a devastating thing. On the top of it, vaccination, the number of vaccinations determines how bad the case goes.
So
And
cardiac death increase no,
yeah,
after the third dose.
yes, yes. And another lady, 3 times vaccinated, she had Parkinson's 1 month after vaccination. Second also, third time she got stroke. You understand that? I don't understand how on earth they can allow the next dosage of vaccination. Either the patient's relative should understand, or the doctor should understand. It's such a pathetic thing. I don't just can't understand how these people do. They have brains? Oh, nonsensical. Very very sad state of affairs. Yeah, definitely, you can think of COVID also. Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we have a few more questions.
Yeah.
Just a minute, please. We have Dr. Megha Ajani who wants to ask a question. Dr. Megha?
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Hello.
We have seen that COVID effects were mostly seen after a particular age group. So, do we prescribe COVID nosols for kids also? Because we don't feel that they must be affected. Or
Uh,
if the case is stuck with the constitution and you feel it can have effects with post COVID?
Yes, it's a very interesting question. Very, very important. Because COVID manifestation was be after 10th standard, because that was the age they were vaccinated. There was mandatory vaccination.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
I think she's left.
No, she's there. She's there, but she's not audible. Looks like some internet issue. Just wait for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has rejoined. Dr. Rekha, you're not audible. Can't hear you.
Now you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were talking about Doctor. I forgot.
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah,
10th
kids.
standard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a very interesting thing because after vaccination we saw those things, but comparatively it is very milder. Like they had chicken pox, which should not be there, and they had menses within 15 days. That I have seen many cases of kids having menses within 15 days, but they recovered very fast. I didn't give much COVID nosor for them, and very younger kids they didn't have any COVID effect direct. They had who are very of lesser levels of health, like autistic patient, children with autism or children with epilepsy. They developed epileptical this, and like spike in their ECG, or
Okay.
real epilepsy type of thing. Actually, it is grave actually. But I didn't get an opportunity to try COVID nosor in them yet. I had a case of a girl with autism who developed a newly epilepsy after COVID. After she had a high fever during December 2020, and unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to treat them with COVID nosor. If I could get that, I will just definitely share my experience. Kids, no, I haven't tried till. I didn't get the chance.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Vaishali again wants to raise a question. Dr. Vaishali?
For Kalimur,
Yeah.
one name that you mentioned for chikungunya,
Yes.
is there any reference that we can get from the books for this? Because never well since this and that, there are many remedies, but I don't
Yes.
remember seeing Kalimur in them.
Yes,
Because I have
actually,
used Rustox each time with success, but Kalimur is a very good thought.
yeah. No, I don't know actually. That doctor is he's a symptom matching type of doctor, and he has some so many tips and secrets like this. Okay, he's the one who shared polyporous pinacula for chikungunya and all. I didn't try actually because, as you know, I am very of new remedies. I don't try them unless it is that pressing. But Calimer worked wonders, and it became a habit. Like,
So when you give one dose of, let's say one m every
yeah.
month, one dose or one
Every
m.
week or every month, how as it is needed, as it is needed, and the severity of the case, and that's what I make sure before repeating the next dose, whether it is needed or not.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a question from Dr. Sneha Barsenia.
Yeah.
Dr. Sneha?
Ma'am, I've already asked my thoughts.
Okay.
Already asked.
Anybody else who would like to ask questions? Yes, we have a question from Dr. Rachna Srivastava. Dr. Rachna?
Hello. Okay. Mm. Infant. Yes, yes. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, usually COVID-19, that nosode, I haven't used much for influenza type of symptoms, flu-like symptoms. Not much because we have graver conditions where we need that. One thing, and then if it is never well since that condition, see after vaccination or after COVID or whatever, we still getting cases like they lose smell uh, still now, even now few cases they have less smell or they are not having that sense of smell. So those cases also helped with COVID nosol in that way. So, but after COVID nosol, I have seen they will develop influenza-like symptoms. That means, yeah, they are in the right path. That's what I told. But for influenza type symptoms, I haven't given COVID nosol. That I haven't tried because it is comparatively lesser trouble in that way. Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question to ask here.
Yeah.
Ma'am, where do you procure these nozodes from? Which
Yes.
pharmacy? And
Yeah. That
which
is.
are the nozodes that we should always keep with us in practice,
Yeah.
usually?
Okay. Um, I procured it from Sakshi Homeo Pharmacy from Pune. I got the number from a group. I can share it. I think, and then and it's working. Yeah. And the second question, like, I think we should have pyrogenum always ready at hand because high fever they can save lives at times. And then other nostrils, as I told before, most of them are not very helping. Even we have a parotidinum, and I think that is sarcoder nosol. So many other nosors. They're basically very rarely useful. But pyrogenum not like that. Even though it is little comparatively rarer, it is
Ma'am,
very helpful. Say life saving.
and dosage.
Yes, yes. Mm.
What potency and dosage do you use it in?
Usually from 30 in low level of health, like very pathological cases. No, I will go for 30, but 1 m is most suitable. 1 m single dose will be helpful, especially
Oh.
103 and 104 fever. Yeah, I forgot another case. That lady had 104 fever for 1 month. Okay, post vaccination, post COVID, not vaccination. Then vaccination was not it in 2020, I think. She's a teacher and she used to go to each house for delivering the kits and all those things. So she had 104 fever for 1 month. She was relieved with pyrogen, and since then she is well. Yeah.
And the dose has to be administered when the fever is at
Yes.
its peak or when the fever is
Yes,
reduced.
yes. Usually, fever cases, I will go by Dr. Farooq Master's technique. Like you put one pill in half glass or 1 glass of water according to the severity of the case. Every 1 hour, 1 spoon of the same dose. That is divided dose. This is Hahnemann method that made easy for us by Farooq Master. So 1 spoon every 1 hour till the patient feels better. This was the same thing whole through all the COVID cases. Very, very severe conditions were brought into control. High fevers were better with this technique only. Night, they will have one high peak, 103, 101, 102, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. That we have to tell our patients. Otherwise, they will start panicking. So, next day morning, they will be ready for office. Yeah, everything fine. That is in viral cases. Viral virus fevers. This works, still works every time.
Okay, that was real great information that you have provided us with. Are there any further questions from the audience?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
so I think we can end the session right
End the
now.
session. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Rekha, for the wonderful presentation and all the inputs that you have given to us about nosodes. It was really very insightful, and I'm sure we have learned a lot today. Yes, we are lucky to have you in the group, and certainly all of us are going to look forward to further more queries. Yes, we are going to keep on troubling you with our queries later on also.
I
With
am
the
in this group for that
questions
same
and
thing.
the amount of work that you have done, your introduction is too huge, and you have really done commendable work for
Thank
homeopathy
you.
and also in the field of integrative medicine. So thank you so much and thank you audience for being patient and
Yes.
being enthusiastic to be attending the
Enthusiastic.
sessions
Yes.
every day. There's one more session coming up tomorrow at 8:30. So meet you all again. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you.